Let's see how a day in her life goes while she's working on a data science project. Well, it is very important to understand the business problem first. In our meeting with the clients, Emma asks relevant questions, understands and defines objectives for the problem that needs to be tackled. She is a curious soul who asks a lot of whys, one of the many traits of a good data scientist. Now, she gears up for data acquisition to gather and scrape data from multiple sources like web servers, logs, databases, APIs, and online repositories. Oh, it seems like finding the right data takes both time and effort. After the data is gathered comes data preparation. This step involves data cleaning and data transformation. Data cleaning is the most time consuming process as it involves handling many complex scenarios. Here, Emma deals with inconsistent data types, misspelled attributes, missing values, duplicate values, and whatnot. Then, in data transformation, she modifies the data based on defined mapping rules. In a project, ETL tools like Talent and Informatica are used to perform complex transformations that helps the team to understand the data structure better. Then understanding what you actually can do with your data is very crucial. For that, Emma does exploratory data analysis. With the help of EDA, she defines and refines the selection of feature variables that will be used in the model development. But what if Emma skips this step? She might end up choosing the wrong variables, which will produce an inaccurate model. Thus, exploratory data analysis becomes the most important step. Now, she proceeds to the core activity of a data science project, which is data modeling. She repetitively applies diverse machine learning techniques like KNN, decision tree, naive Bayes to the data to identify the model that best fits the business requirement. She trains the models on the training dataset and tests them to select the best performing model. Emma prefers Python for modeling the data. However, it can also be done using R and SAS. Well, the trickiest part is not yet over: visualization and communication. Emma meets the clients again to communicate the business findings in a simple and effective manner to convince the stakeholders. She uses tools like Tableau, Power BI, and ClickView that can help her in creating powerful reports and dashboards. And then finally, she deploys and maintains the model. She tests the selected model in a pre-production environment before deploying it in the production environment, which is the best practice, right? After successfully deploying it, she uses reports and dashboards to get real-time analytics. Further, she also monitors and maintains the project's performance. Well, that's how Emma completes the data science project. We have seen the daily routine of a data scientist is a whole lot of fun, has a lot of interesting aspects, and comes with its own share of challenges. Now, let's see how data science is changing the world. Data science techniques, along with genomic data, provides a deeper understanding of genetic issues in reaction to particular drugs and diseases. Logistic companies like DHL, FedEx have discovered the best routes to ship, the best suited time to deliver, the best mode of transport to choose, thus leading to cost efficiency. With data science, it is possible to not only predict employee attrition, but to also understand the key variables that influence employee turnover. Also, the airline companies can now easily predict flight delay and notify the passengers beforehand to enhance their travel experience. Well, if you're wondering, there are various roles offered to a data scientist, like data analyst, machine learning engineer, deep learning engineer, data engineer, and of course, data scientist. The median base salaries of a data scientist can range from $95,000 to $165,000. So that was about the data science. Are you ready to be a data scientist? If yes, then start today. The world of data needs you. That's all from my side today. Thank you for watching. Comment below the next topic that you want to learn and subscribe.
Right. I think now now you can understand what is data science. Actually, students, it's beginning from the business problem, right? So when it's come to the your profession, right? So you should need to understand by looking at this process, so when it's come to your internship as well, you are engaging with whatever the steps that we have discussed. It can be a data acquisition, or it can be a data preparation, or sometimes exploration data analytics and the data modeling. or sometimes visualization by looking at these aspects, right? So you can think, yes, my role is engaging with this, what one of the stage අපි දැන් මේ කතා කරපු data science process එක ගත්තාම තමයි ඔයාලට තේරෙනවා ඔයාලා මේ දැනට යන internship එකෙත් ඔයාලා එක තැනකට මේක link වෙනවා, right? So by looking at the RPAS or the predictive analysis, so where is the point actually you are engaging? Yes, actually that is the data modeling part. So up to now, from the first year to the third year, so we discuss what the some subjects or sub course unit relating to these areas, right? So actually in your final year first semester, we are discussing about the predictive analysis. So it is related with the data modeling part, right? So actually, so I think we are having a data visualization subject as well in your final second semester. So it is linked with the next stage. After the modeling, yes, you can't stop that your works. Definitely, you need to communicate it to your stakeholders. How you are going to communicate? Yes, using the data visualization. You are creating dashboards and all using Power BI, Quick View, or the Tableau, whatever the tools you can use. And the thing is actually the data modeling or the modeling part is not the a real important thing to the organization. The thing is actually you should need to create an insight to make the decision, right? You need to create a insight to make the decision to the shareholders. That is the ultimate objective. So that means yes, you need to go for the visualization, right? According to that, then if I'm asking again, yes, what is the data science? Yes, you can see. So now we are working with the data-driven decision making, right? So when it comes to the corporate sector, basically in the previously, right, means before the information era or the information age. So how they make their decision actually? Can you tell me? අපි මේ data වලට වටිනාකමක් හම්බෙන කලින් ව්‍යාපාරික තීරණ ගත්තේ කොහොමද කියලා මම ඔයාලගෙන් අහුවොත්. Students, could you please tell me? Do you have any idea? In the past, how the people make their decisions? Actually, when it's come to the organization or the company, there are some high-level positions. There are some hierarchical order. Then most of the time, the top position or top or the chairpersons, they make their decision according to their understanding. If he is the owner, if he is the board of director, if he is the chief financial officer, they can make their decision with their own thoughts, right? But when it's come to the today's context, now it is not no more than valid. So what happened was there. So now the data having the value, we are thinking, yes, data is asset for the organization. Now we are making our decisions based on the data. Without data, yes, we are not going to yes, we are not going to believe anything. So everything need to have in evidence or the data. That's why we are calling it as a data-driven age. Then what happened? Yes, there is a need, rise a need of having the data science. That's why you are having a good job market actually, right? So when it's come to the past, yes, there were some problems. But when it's come to today context, yes, there are some problems. Sometimes the past problems may be the present problems. But the thing is, what's the difference actually? How we are going to solve it? What the practice we use to solve the past problem or the same problem in the past, and what the techniques and what the tool, what the technology we are going to use today to solve the same problem. The difference may be, yes, now you are making your decision based on the facts and figures, that means the data, right? That means, so you can understand the data science when it's come to the data science process. Yes, the very first stage is, yes, we need to have the business problems. Now you are going to find the solution. To identify the solution, you should need to have what? The basic requirement, primary objective or the primary need would be what? That is data. Without having the data, you can't make the decision in a current context. Then, under the data sciences, yes, your initial stage would be actually you should need to collect the information, you need to collect the data. How you are going to collect the data? Then, what are the sources actually you are having? Actually, yes, social media, yes. Then you have the web pages, you may have the logs, and you may have the database, DBMS. You know that's a structural database, or we can say it as a DBMS, database management systems. Or you may have the data warehouses, right? You may have the data warehouses, or you can say it as online repositories, sensors. What do you mean by the sensors? Then very good example is the Uber, Pick Me. Huh? So based on the online apps also, you can collect some information and the data. So the very first stage is what? Now you need to understand that is the data acquisition. Then after collecting these data, so I have already mentioned what are the sources actually you may have, right? In very commonly, yes, we are not going to limit it to the structural data. Unstructured data also we are using when it comes to the social media. So there are some images, there are some text, right? So you don't have you don't have the proper tables there. You can't identify any tables. So that means tables means that is structured data, right? So you may have attributes, you may have rows and columns of the field. So there you can identify the structured way. But when it's come to the images, text, and semi-structured data, yes, actually, yes, we want to use those things to make our decision in current context. So very basically, we can discuss those things, right? So very basically, we are having structured data, unstructured data, and the semi-structured data. We will discuss. So whatever the data, yes, you need to collect from the sources where the websites, logs, social media, online platforms, online repositories, and the database management systems through and the data warehouse, maybe, right? After collecting this, what you need to do is you can't use this core data as it is. Why? Because of sometimes there may be missing values. Sometimes there may be misapplications. There are some so how we can call it as a um, it is not aligned with our requirement. So for that, what we can do is after collecting this data, you need to prepare this data. So we can call it as there are two ways to convert this data, or we need to prepare this data. Yes, we are going to clean the data, and we are going to transform the data, right? The transformation means what? Then if you want to take the data into one aspect, I can give you example. Yes, you are getting some huge values and small values together. So this is not suitable for doing comparison. So if I'm asking like this, yes, I will take the total sales value, and I'm taking a gearing ratio, and total revenue. Oh, what? Please forget the gearing ratio. I will take the profit margin, or the profit ratio, gross profit ratio, net profit ratio, and the turnover, annual turnover. Turnover, we are getting the rupee value. 100 million, 200 million, oh, the billions. Yes, it is somewhat big value. But if you are taking a profit margin or the profit ratio, net profit ratio, gross profit ratio, it is getting as a small number, 9.7%, 25%. It's a percentage. That is the rupee value. If I am going to compare these two, yes, somewhat it is not matching, or it is not making a sense. Why? Because of the if we are taking turnover side, it is changing, or it is changing a huge value. It's showing huge values, so big values. But in your other side, of the ratio side, it is showing small values. So what we can do is, then if I want to do analysis, I need to transform it. Yes, I need to get these two variables into one platform or one level. For that, I will use the log values. I will use the log values. Sometimes you may have this experience with your research. I think you have started your research. You collected data, but what you can do is, if you want to take these all variables into one single level, yes, you can take the log values for that. Yes, that is a conversion or the transformation. Then under the data preparation stage, yes, we have two things to do: data clearing and data transformation. After transforming this data, then what we can do actually? Yes, now data is okay. You have had or you had data. Now what you can do is, now the thing was happened. අපි ගාව data තිබුණට ළමයි අපි තීරණය ගන්න ඕන මොන data එකද කියන එක අපි තේරුම් ගන්න එක මාරම වැදගත් වෙනවා. දැන් අපි ගාව data තිබුණා. ඒ data අපි එකතු කරගන්න sources ගැන කතා කරා. ඒ කතා කරලා අපි අපේ ගාව තියෙන මේ data, ඒ raw data ම අපිට ගන්න බෑ අපේ process එකට. What we can do is actually ඔයා data clean කරගන්න ඕන, data transform කරගන්න ඕන. එතකොට තමයි ඔයාලට මේ data ඇත්තටම data model එකකට use කරන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්නේ. ඇයි? සමහරවිට අපි එකතු කරන data වල missing values තියෙන පුතා. සමහර ඒවා mismatch වෙනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ ගැලපෙන්නේ නැති data තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. එතකොට මෙන්න මේ කියන දේවල් හින්දා අපි data preparation කියන stage එකෙන් පස්සේ අපි එනවා exploratory data analysis කියන තැනට. ඇයි එන්නේ? අපි හිතන්න අපි ගාව තියෙනවා thousands of variables, thousands of data, millions of data. හැබැයි මම තේරුම් ගන්න ඕන මගේ මේ decision එකට නැත්නම් මගේ මේ problem එකට උත්තරයක් හොයනකොට වැදගත්ම වෙන variables මොනවද කියන එක. මේ මම model එකක් හදන්න යන්නේ. එහෙනම් මේ model එකට වැදගත්ම වෙන variables එක මම තෝරගන්න ඕනේ. Sometimes you may select the variables that not make any sense for your decision. At that time, that means if you are going to use that model for your business, it will make the wrong results for you, or the bad results for you. Actually, why? Because of you didn't select the important variable for your data modeling. For the data model, actually, if you are talking about the machine learning techniques, yes, you are identify some algorithms and all. So you just need to identify what is the exact variable making a sense, making an effect for your decision, right? That's the thing actually you should need to understand. Then the next thing, that is the next stage, that is data or the exploratory data analysis part. Yes, you need to select the features variable that will be used in the model development, right? So that is the way you can explain. After that, actually, we are moving. Yes, after that, actually, we are moving to the data modeling part. Yes, actually, we are moving to the data modeling part. So under the data modeling part, yes, you can understand, yes, the real worth of this course unit, that is the data mining and predictive analysis, right? So just please give me 1 second. Right. Actually, then after that, yes, we are moving to the data modeling part. That is the place where you can use our knowledge and our experience. Then other than there, yes, you can use the Python, and yeah, there are so many tools. So here, actually, when it's come to the data modeling part, so you can use KNN technology, KNN, the machine learning techniques, right? KNN and decision trees, Navy base, yeah, those are the techniques actually you can use. So we are discussing the high level of this, and at the end of this semester, basically I will discuss about the KNN, right? KNN one, right? KNN methods and the technology under the data modeling part, right? After making your data, after creating or the designing your data model, so it is not the stopping point of your process. So what you can do is, after creating this, and what we can say it as, it is not the technical word, we can call it as a train and test. first what you need to do is you need to train the model, and you need to test the model, right? Then it is not the stopping point. After that, you need to communicate those things to your organization or to your stakeholders. So how actually you can design your dashboards using Power BI and Tableau or whatever the method you can use. So that insights you need to communicate to your stakeholders. Based on that, they will make their decision. Ultimately, what you can do is now you have already created your data model, so you need to maintain it. So actually, that is the thing you are doing in a business. If you have a business problem, so as a data scientist, so this is your role actually. This is your role. Actually, you need to support to the decision making, right? Okay. Then the thing is actually some of guys or some of peoples are knowing the uh, aspect, or they are knowing to make the decision based on the insights. But the thing is actually they don't know the way to create the insights, right? Can you understand what I'm saying? If you are giving the dashboard and all the insights to your stakeholders, some people can make the decision based on that. That is one part. The other part is some people are not knowing how to generate those things. Then ඔයාලා ළමයි ගත්තාම ඔයාලගේ පාර්ට් එක හරි වෙනස්. සමහර කෙනෙක්ට පුළුවන් ඉන්සයිට් එක අතට දුන්නාට පස්සේ ඩිසිෂන් එක මේක් කරන්න. හැබැයි ඒ ඩිසිෂන් මේක් කරන කෙනාට දන්නේ නැහැ මේ ඉන්සයිට් එක ක්‍රියේට් කරන්නේ කොහොමද. එතකොට මේ දෙකම ගැන දන්න ඔයාලා, yes, so you're having somewhat value addition, right? You're having some value addition. Why? Because of you know how to make these insights, and based on that insights, how to make the decision. Two parts are satisfied, right? Okay. So I have a message, new message. What is that? No. Okay. Then actually, under the data sciences, yes, under the data science, so basically we are doing two things. First thing is actually we are doing prediction, right? We are doing prediction. So what can be happen actually? What is the forecasting thing? Yes, we are doing the prediction. Then we are going to identify some key values or key variables can be make any impact to the industry. මේ කියන ක්‍රම ඒ කියන්නේ මේ කියන කාරණා දෙකම අපි data science එක ඇතුලේ කරනවා. Data science එක ඇතුලේ අපි කරනවා සමහර ලාට predictions, right? මොකක්ද වෙන්නේ ඊළඟට කියන කාරණා. ඒක විතරක් මේ forecasting කරන එකම විතරක් නෙමෙයි අපි කරන්නේ. ඊට අමතරව අපි කරන දේ මොනවද? අපි හිතමු අපේ ඉන්ඩස්ට්‍රි එක ඇතුලේ අපිට වඩාම වැදගත් වුණ නැත්නම් වඩාම ඉම්පැක්ට් කරන වේරියබල් එක නැත්නම් වැලියුස් එහෙම නැත්නම් ෆැක්ටර්ස් අයිඩෙන්ටිෆයි කරගන්න එකත් අපිට කරගන්න පුළුවන් මෙන්න මේ කියන data science process එක ඇතුලේ. ඒකේ අපිට තියෙන වැදගත්කම මොකද්ද? මේ කියන ෆැක්ටර්ස් අඳුරගත්තාම අපි එතෙන්ට ට්‍රීට් කරපුවාම ළමයි අපිට ඉක්මනටම අපේ කියන මේ ඔබ්ජෙක්ටිව්ස් ඇචීව් කරගන්න පුළුවන්. So that is the way. Right? That's all about the data science process. So exactly. So just I am going to take empty area. If you want, you can make some notes. So I'm not going to give those things. Could you please tell me, can you see my Word document here? Yes or no? Can you see it? Yes or no? Some of you can send a message. Can you see my Word document? Yes or no? No one. Students, ෂෙයා කරලා තියෙන Word document එක ඔයාලට පේනවද?
සර් ඩොකියුමන්ට් එකක් පේන්නේ නැහැ ස්ක්‍රීන් එක විතරයි පේන්නේ බ්ලැක් මේ වයිට් ස්ක්‍රීන් එකක්
මම කලින් කතා කරද්දිත් මොකුත් වෙන්නේ නැද්ද ඒක? දැනුත් එහෙමද?
ඔව් සර්
ඔයාලට මේ Word document මේ white නිකන් ඔයාලට Word document එකේ තාම මම මොකුත් ලියලා නැහැ. white විදියට පේනවද
ඔව්
නේ?
එහෙම පේනවා
Ah, okay, fine.
හරි
Okay, right, good. Then, so what I am going to explain students. Yes, you know, the starting point is, yes, what is? So in our process, our starting point is data, right? So what was happened? Yes, starting point is data, right? Then it will direct you to making the insights, right? It will direct you to make insights, right? So that is the thing you are doing under the using the machine learning. You are creating algorithms. Sometimes you are making some models, right? Using Power BI, sorry, using Python, using R Studio, whatever the tools you can use to create insights, right? Then you are creating dashboards as well using Power BI and Tableau. Those are we are calling insights, right? The insights. Then finally, what you can do is based on the insight, you can make your or you can get the action. මේකත් එක්ක අරගෙන තමයි අපි අපේ action එක අපි තීරණය කරන්න. So first you need to have the data. Based on the data, yes, the data you are going to clean and transform. Then that data get into the machine learning and the data modeling part by selecting the featured variable, right? They select the most suitable variables and get into the accounts and using the RPass or R Studio or the we can say Python or whatever the tools you can use to create or generate the insights, and the Power BI and Tableau you can use for dashboard designing and things. After that, you are going to communicate it to the stakeholders. Based on that, they can make the decision. That is the whole process. අර මුළු කියපු stages සේරම මේකට අපිට limit කරන්න පුළුවන්. නැත්නම් අපිට ඒක summarize කරන්න පුළුවන්. So these are the three things. So here in when it comes to the data, you know how to collect data. Yes, data warehouse and database management systems. Then you may have the social media, and you are having some logs, websites, and you may have the sensors. Sensors means it can be Uber and Pick Me or whatever the online platforms. Or sometimes you can say, oh, when it comes to hospital as well, hospitals also they are using some sensor sensitive information. So the sensors. Then those are the ways actually you can collect the data, right? So these are the ways actually you can collect the data. When it comes to the data, actually we can see there are three types of data. So I have already explained, right? So what are the types? Actually, you can have the structured data and you have the unstructured data. So some people is talking about supervised and unsupervised, right? So the same meaning, right? The unstructured data and the structured, supervised and unsupervised, whatever the words you can use, unstructured data. Then the third category is semi-structured data, right? Semi-structured data. So what are the differences you can identify? So as a final year students, you should need to understand what are the differences in between these structured, unstructured, and semi-structured data, right? So when it comes to the structured data point, a very good example is a DBMS. I am not going to ask what is DBMS. Why? Because of you had one semester. That is second year. I think it would be second year first semester. We had a subject database management system. There we discussed a lot of the facts related to DBMS. The thing is structured means basically you are talking about this kind of tables. There are some columns and rows. Then it's a structured one. Yes, there are some attributes and all. So that is all about the tables. You can see the tables. So that is database management system or the structured data. When it comes to the unstructured data, what the example you can say it as a simply images, sometimes text, So here you don't have any sort of tables, right? You don't have any sort of tables. So just roughly you can take images and text and all as a data, right? The core data. So that is unstructured data. Then what is semi? Semi means the combination of these two. That means structured data and structured data. Combination of these two, we can call it as semi-structured data. If you want to have the example, I can say it as XML model, XML format. So you know there is a format, call it as XML. XML means here you may have some structured data with the unstructured data. Sometimes you may have yes figures and all, the login times and all, um, with the images, right? With the images, this type of combinations there may be. right? XML format එකේදී සාමාන්‍යයෙන් ළමයි අපිට අර structured විදියට අපිට ගන්න පුළුවන් අර නිවැරදි column වගේ column එකක් නැහැ. හැබැයි column විදියට තියෙනවා informations. ඒ වගේම unstructured data ඒක ඇතුලේ තියෙනවා. So very good example is XML format, right? XML format. So that is the actual thing coming under the decision or the data sciences. So you know every stages, and now you know why we are teaching these, why we are learning those things. The very good point is here. So now we are working here. So data we discuss from the beginning onwards. We are talking about the data, and we discussed this part in your previous semesters, and we completed DBMS part also. So this semester we are talking about the insight creation, right? The data modeling part, right? The predictions, how we can do the predictions and all. So these are the things actually we are doing here. So before moving to the next stage, just we need to watch another video. Yes, before moving to the next part, just we need to watch another video. After watching that, yes, we can continue our discussion, right? Everything more important. If you want, you can have the short notes and all. So I'm not going to give anything. Why? Because of now you are final year students. We are doing the discussion. Whatever the important areas you can having your short notes, right? You having the short notes. Okay. Then the next thing. Next video is now we are going to discuss about, or we are going to learn about the level of analytics. Before moving to that, actually, I want to explain. So there are 4 levels, right? There are 4 levels. After watching this video, we can discuss. There are 4 levels, but in this course unit, we are talking, or we are touching on only 2 levels, right? So we can discuss why we are going for 2, why we are not going for 4. So everything we can discuss. You can make the argument as well, but the thing is actually with the limiting time period, then with the scope, actually we are discussing only 2 levels. After watching this, we can discuss what are the 2 levels actually we are going to discuss, right? Okay. So I am going to play this. Okay. I think you can see it, right? You can see it, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Hello all. In this video, we're going to see the different levels of business analytics. Broadly, business analytics can be divided into 4 levels. They are descriptive analytics, diagnostic analytics, predictive analytics, and prescriptive analytics. Now let us see each of these levels in detail. What is descriptive analytics? Descriptive analytics gives you information on what is happening. Let us see a particular example. This report gives us information about sales of ice cream X in different regions, and is also compared the sales for years 2015 and 16. This is a typical descriptive analytics report, which gives you information on what is happening to sales of this ice cream. From this chart, one could infer that except for region 2, the sales have increased from 2015 to 16. So this is the level of information one could obtain from descriptive analytics. Now that we know the sales has dropped in region 2, our next job is to move to the next level of analytics, which is diagnostic analytics. This will give you information on why is it happening. So our job here is to deep dive into region 2 and see what exactly is going wrong for us. So this is a typical report for the market share of region 2. From this, one could infer that for all brands X, Y, and Z, the market share is going down because of the reason a new local brand has come up in 2016, which is gaining the market share. This is the level of information you will be able to obtain using diagnostic analytics. Now that we know what is happening to our sales, why is it happening, our next step is to go to the next level of analytics, which is called predictive analytics. So this will help us find out what is likely to happening. There are a lot of different ways predictive analytics can be performed. For this particular example, what we can do is to build a regression equation for region 2 sales with different factors that would affect the sales of region 2. This would help us change the different factors, say for example, the advertisement expense or discount, and see what would be the impact of the changes on sales. So these are some things that you can do using predictive analytics, which essentially tells you what is likely to happen in future. Now that we know what has happened, why it has happened, and what is likely to happen, our next job is to move into prescriptive analytics, where you suggest the best course of action to solve the problem. For this particular example, we can give solutions like increase the advertising expense by 10% or give a 5% discount for 2 months. If we are able to find out using the regression equation that these factors like advertising expense or discount has an impact on sales. So these are the 4 different levels of business analytics. Now let's summarize what we have just seen. There are 4 different levels of business analytics. The first level is descriptive analytics, which will give you information on what is happening. The second one, diagnostic analytics, which will give you information on why is it happening. Third one, predictive analytics, which would give you information on what is likely to happen in the future. And the fourth level, which suggests you the best course of action to solve the business problem. Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe to this
Right. By looking at this, I think you can understand how many levels are there. Yes, we discussed. There are 4 levels, right? So, first one is descriptive part, right? Descriptive analytics when it's come to the business analytics, right? Descriptive analytics and diagnostic analytics and predictive analytics. Finally, you may have the prescriptive analytics as well. Sometimes you have heard about these 4 things before that. So, I will explain briefly. Sometimes you may already aware about this. Okay, doesn't matter. So we will have a few minutes to get some understanding about the descriptive, diagnostic, predictive, and prescriptive. Right. After getting the idea, I can mention yes, what are the 2 things actually we are going to experience using under this subject, right? So the very first thing is the descriptive one. Descriptive means actually it's basically talking about the what was happened, right? What was happened. So that is the simple question you can ask under the descriptive part. It's talking about history. If I'm asking, I can give you one example using your levels as well. So assume you obtain grades for your database management system subject. So you and your batch got results to this subject. You know, when it comes to the semester, you may have 5 subjects. So every subject is you got marks at the end. So I'm asking, yes, by comparing, I'm asking, what is the average mark of this semester? I can take one student number here. Yes, student number 20, right? Please don't give the answers. For example, student number 20, what is the average mark you obtain in your last semester? That is my question. Or I can ask, what is the minimum mark? What is the subject you obtain a minimum mark in the last semester? So every question you asking about the historical factor, right? Then already you are විභාගෙ ලියලා ඉවරයි. විභාගෙට ලකුණු හම්බෙලා ඉවරයි. එතකොට මම අහනවා පහුගිය සෙමෙස්ටර් එකේ සබ්ජෙක්ට් පහක් තිබ්බ පුතා. ඔයාගේ ඇවරේජ් මාර්ක් එක කීයද? So what was happened? So what was happened? Right? It's already gone, right? It's a historical one. You can get some decision based on that actually. Yes. More, when it's come to the organization or when it's come to the general environments, we are working other 80%, 80% of decision, 80, right? So 80% of decision we are making using the descriptives, right? So sometimes we may have arguments, but the really or the realistic or the actual scenario is like that. We use descriptive data for decision making. Or day-to-day decisions we are making based on the descriptors. No, we are not going for the prescriptive or the predictive. Every time we are not going for that. So if I'm asking, yes, just asking the subject marks. Yes, we are talking about the descriptive. What is the mean value? What is the median? What is the maximum value? What is the minimum value? What is the standard deviations there? Or what is the skewness? Or whatever the things, everything we are discussing about the historical data. What was happened? So that is the thing actually we are doing under the descriptive part. I think now you can understand, right? අපේ මේ අවුරුද්දේ සේල් එක අඩු වෙලා තියෙනවා. අපේ මේ අවුරුද්දේ සේල් එක කීයද? අපේ මේ අවුරුද්දේ ෂොප් එක ගිය අවුරුද්දයි මේ අවුරුද්දයි අතර සේල් එක මොකද වෙලා තියෙන්නේ? What was happened? අඩු වෙලාද වැඩි වෙලාද? මොකක්ද උපරිම අපි එක ක්වාටර් එක සේල් එකක් ගත්තොත් මොන මාසෙද වැඩිපුරම සේල් එක වෙලා තියෙන්නේ? What was happened? So that is all about descriptive. I think it is clear for you. Is it clear, Puta? Is it okay? Yes or no? Descriptive part? Yes. Is it okay? Is it clear? තේරුණේ? Hello? Are you there? ළම descriptive part එක තේරුණාද මොනවද descriptive analytics යටතේ අපි කරන්නේ කියන එක? Yes or no? Oh my God.
තේරුණා සර්.
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much for your responses, right? So then we are moving to the diagnostic part. So the same thing, right? So the same thing, but there is a small difference there. The thing is actually we are discussing previously we discussed what was happened, what is happened, no, what was happened. මොකද උනේ මොකද වෙලා තියෙන්නේ කියන කාරණා තමයි කතා කරන්නේ. But when it's come to the diagnostic, you're asking why why was it happen? Why was it happen? Why is it happen? So that is the question actually they are asking. Previously, what? මොකක්ද උනේ? Now, ඇයි ඒක උනේ? When you are going to talk about this, actually, why means so you need to get two variables, at least two variables in a one time to give in the answer. ඇයි සේල් එක අඩු නේ කිව්වොත් පුතේ සේල් එක අඩු වෙලා තියෙනවා. ඇයි කියපුවම තව වේරියබල් එකක් ගැන කතා කරන්න ඕනේ. yes or no? ඇයි ලකුණු අඩු නේ කියලා ඇහුවොත් ලකුණු වලින්ම අපිට උත්තර දෙන්න බෑ. yes. Why you are getting the lowest marks for this semester? I'm asking why. It's talking about the diagnosis. If you want to give the answer for this, you need to get the help from the another variable as well. For example, I can give you. So this year sales goes down. That is my descriptive part. Sales goes down. My sales value is this. I'm asking why it was rising. Why was it happen? So I'm asking the question. Then I can't give the answer using this sales value. So I need to identify another factor, another variable impacted to this. Right? So that is the beauty of this. The diagnostic means we are talking about the two variables at the same time. Why it's happened? Why? ඇයි ඒක හැම උනේ කියලා අපි අහනවා. ඒකට අපි කියනවා මොකද්ද? මේ අවුරුද්දේ අපේ සේල් එක අඩු වුණා. ඇයි? මගේ වෙළඳ පොළට අලුතෙන් කම්පැනිස් කීපයක් එන්ටර් වුණා. නැත්තම් ආරම්භ කරා නැත්නම් අලුතෙන් ආරම්භ කර ස්ටාර්ට්අප්ස් බිස්නස් කීපයක් වෙළඳ පොළට ආවා. So that is my answer for that. Why it was happen? The reason is there were some new entries to the industry. අලුතෙන් කම්පැනිස් කීපයක් මේ ඉන්ඩස්ට්‍රි එකට ආපු ඉඳ තමයි මගේ සේල් එක පාත ගියේ. මොකද කලින් මම විතරයි මේ ඉන්ඩස්ට්‍රි එකේ හිටියේ. Now we have many more companies in this industry. So that type of analytics part also we are talking about under the diagnostic analysis. You are giving the answers why it was happen. Right? I think it's also clear. Then the third one is somewhat relevant to you and very important for you. That is the predictive analysis. What do you mean by that? Predictive analysis. Predictive means you are going to look like this. What is likely happen? What is likely happen? You are talking about the forecasting figures. You are talking about the forecasting figures. Or you are going to identify the unknown insights, right? So every time we are not talking about the forecasting. I can give you example like this. හරි අපි දැන් කිව්වා sales අඩු වුණා. Sales අඩු උනේ ඇයි? අලුතෙන් අපේ ඉන්ඩස්ට්‍රි එකට අලුතෙන් companies ආපු හින්දා. එතකොට මගේ predictive analysis එකේ මගේ මොකද්ද මම මේ කරන්න හදන්නේ? Predictive analysis එකේදී මම අහන්නේ ඊළඟ අවුරුද්දේ නැත්නම් ඊළඟ මාසේ මගේ sale එකට මොකක් වෙයිද? What was happened to my next month's sale? You predict, you forecast something. It is not already happened, but likely to be happen. It can be happen in the future. Before happening, you are going to identify it. That is the predictive analysis. That is one aspect. It's the one aspect. There's another aspect as well. පළවෙනි aspect එක අඳුරගත්තා නම් දෙවෙනි aspect එකට යන්න පුළුවන්. First aspect is what? You are going to identify the future happening thing, future events. So that is the predictive analysis. Then another one is, if I'm asking like this, if we don't know the insights, actually it's all already exist. The all possible outcomes are exist in the market, but we don't know. The very good example is, as you Netflix, they are working with the film industry. So you trying to identify So who are the persons like to watch comedy movies? So people are there, and yeah, interests are there, and some people are interested to watch comedy films and romantic films, sometimes action movie as well. Then Netflix trying to identify who are the people's actually interested on the comedy movie. So it is also prediction. මේ කියන අය මේකට කැමතිද? අපි අපි මාකට් එක ඇතුලේ බලනවා මෙයාලා කම්බඩීස් වලට කැමතිද? So we don't know actually. So those are also coming under the prediction or the predictive analysis. Very basically, actually, prediction means, or the predictive analysis talking about the likely to be happen incidents. So that means the forecasting or the future. We are talking about the future. ඊළඟ මාසේ මගේ සේල් එක මොකක් වෙයිද? ඊළඟ අවුරුද්දේ මගේ සේල් එක මොකක් වෙයිද? මම ඩිස්කවුන්ට් එකක් දුන්නොත් මට මොනවා වෙයිද? Likewise, you can have some sort of regressions models and correlation models you can run and get some outputs. So you can identify some patterns as well, hidden patterns you can identify using these techniques. So predictive analysis talking about that. The final one is the prescriptive. Prescriptive is somewhat danger point. It's a danger point, it's an important point. That is the critical point under these four levels, right? The prescriptive is what is the best course of action. What is the best course of action means, student? You should need to understand while we are talking about this. In this situation, you should need to have at least two options. At least two options you are having. You should need to select one of that. You are having two options for answering the question. The thing is, you are going to select one of that. You are going to select one of that. That is, we are calling about the prescriptive. That is, we are calling about the prescriptive, right? So actually, I have a call. Please give me 1 second, right? Right. We discuss about the prescriptive. We discussing about prescriptive. So here, actually, you should need to have two options, right? So if I'm asking, now my sales goes down, so what we can do? Actually, there are two options. If I'm or if I want, I can give some discounts. I can do the discount. I can give the discounts for my customers. That is one option to increase my sales. What is the next options I can use? Yes, I can start my advertising or promotional campaign. Then it also will increase my sales. So these are the two options actually I have. So for the time being, right? I will take only two. There are many more. For the time being, yes, I can use the discounts, trade discounts, and the promotional campaign. ළමයි හිතන්න වගේ sales එක අඩු වෙලා තියෙන්නේ company එකේ. Sale එක අඩු වෙලා තියෙන වෙලාවක මට options දෙකක් තියෙනවා මගේ sales වැඩි කරගන්න. එකක් තමයි මගේ customers ලාට මට දෙන්න පුළුවන් discount, right? මම discounts දුන්නාම customers ලා මට attract කරගන්න පුළුවන්. එක option එකක් මට දැන් තියෙනවා. ඊට අමතරව ගත්තහම අපිට තියෙන ඊළඟ ඔප්ෂන් එක තමයි ළමයි අපිට පුළුවන් අපේ ප්‍රොඩක්ට් එක ගැන මිනිස්සු දැනුවත් කරන්න. ඒ කියන්නේ අපේ ප්‍රොමෝෂනල් ඇඩ්වර්ටයිසින් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒක ඇඩ්වර්ටයිසින් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. එතකොට මෙන්න මේ කියන ඔප්ෂන්ස් දෙකක් මගේ අතේ තියෙනවා, right? So at this time I have two options. Either I can go for discounts or I can go for advertising. So at this time I need to select one. I can't use both, right? Why? So two aspects making some expense for me. ඒක ඩිස්කවුන්ට් එකක් දුන්නත් ඒක මට එක පැත්තකින් අවාසියක්. එහෙම නැත්නම් මම ප්‍රොමෝෂන්ස් වලට යනවා කියන්නේ ඒක මගේ එක පැත්තකින් cost එකක්, expense එකක්. ඒතකොට මේ දෙකෙන් එකක් තමයි මම කරන්න කැමති වෙන්නේ. ඒතකොට under the prescriptive statistic or the prescriptive analysis, so it will direct us what is the best option actually I want to select. It will direct us to select the best option. It will direct us to select the best option. Then that is we are calling about the prescriptive. So it will direct or it will suggest to give you the discounts. Sometimes it will direct us to do the promotions. Okay. So now you know what's the what are the four levels actually in business analytics? So very basically, you should need to understand we are using or we are discussing under this course unit only descriptive part and the predictive part. What are the parts actually we are going to discuss? About the descriptive part and the predictive parts only. So we are not going to talk about the prescriptive parts and the diagnostic part. That is the thing actually you should need to understand. Okay, then we discussed a lot, and just again I need to share some information with you. Right, if it is okay, can get a new page. Right, I think again you can see my mm, document, right? So there is a activity actually here. Those are not activity. So I'm asking some small question from you before moving to this discussion. So my question is, by looking at the complexity, and the value. So I have two things, right? I have two axes actually. So I can go like this. Yes, this is the one axis, another is like this. So here I am taking complexity. Complexity in this side actually I am taking as a value. So here you can say it as more, and here less, and here less, and here more. Right? Now you know there are four levels, right? Now you know there are four levels. I'm asking a small question. What is the analytics? What is the analysis contained with the more value and more complex? Could you please tell me? So is there anyone? මොකක්ද මේ ඇනලිසිස් වර්ග හතර ගත්තාම කම්ප්ලෙක්ස් වැඩිම නැත්නම් සංකීර්ණ වැඩිම සහ වැලියු එකක් වැඩිපුරම අපේ කම්පැනි එකට ගෙනත් දෙන ඇනලිසිස් ටයිප් එක මොකක්ද කියලා if I'm asking. Yes. Yes. Anyone? So could you please tell me what is the more complex, more valuable analysis in the organization? Yes. Yes. Yes, no one is there, right? Actually, just I can draw and explain, right? When it's come to the value, less value and less complexity, so we can take it as a descriptive. Right? Descriptive. Then diagnostic, come to the next part. Diagnostic come to the next. That means somewhat complex than the descriptive, somewhat valuable than the descriptive. Then next stage you have the predictive. The final part, or the more valuable, more complex analytic, or the analysis coming under, or the we can call it as prescriptive. That is somewhat related with the decision making, right? Somewhat making the decision making. මේකෙන දේවල් විභාගේ ප්‍රශ්න පත්‍රයට ඇහුවොත් ඒ දේවල් පැහැදිලිව explain කරන්න තමන්ට පුළුවන් ඉන්න ඕනේ. I am not going to tell you. Please note down, student, these things. Complexity and the valuable, or if we are taking two axes, how you can elaborate this. Also, I'm not going to tell. Yes, if you want, you can take. So by looking at this, yes, prescriptive one is the more valuable and more complex analysis tool or analysis method, right? Less valuable and less complex analysis one is the descriptive one. By taking these two, yes, by taking these two, we can tell under these two stages we are using the machine learning. We are using the machine learning techniques. Okay. හැබැයි තව කෙනෙක්ට මේක මේ විදියට නැතුව මෙතනින් තවත් circle එකක් අඳින්න පුළුවන්. More complex and more valuable than the prescriptive one. That is the sixth stage that we can call it as a cognitive analysis. If you want, you can search in your Chrome browser. So what are the analytics level or the analysis level, business analysis level? Business analytics level. Yes, sixth one is showing as the cognitive analytics. Cognitive analytics means somewhat different than what we discussed here. So it's talking about the human related new knowledge. Human related new knowledge means සමහර ලාට ළමයි තියෙනවා සිස්ටම් එකට දැන් අපි සිස්ටම්ස් කියන්නේ මේ ගොඩක් වෙලාවට අපි කතා කරන්නේ ඒ සිස්ටම්ස් වලට අලුත් knowledge එකක් create කරන්න පුළුවන් when it's come to the artificial intelligence. Yes, they can create new knowledge, but සමහර තැන්වලදී සිස්ටම් එක ලිමිට් වෙනවා. මොකද එයාට තේරුම් ගන්න පුළුවන් වපහරියට එහා ගිහිල්ලා දෙයක් හිතන්න පුළුවන් කාටද? හියුමන් නැත්නම් මනුෂ්‍යයාට පුළුවන් ඊට වඩා දෙයක් හිතන්න. අන්න ඒතන තමයි මේ කොග්නිටිව් ඇනලිටික්ස් කියන එක තියෙන්නේ. කියන්නේ අපි තීරණ ගැනීමට අපේ මනස පාවිච්චි කරන අපේ එකට කියනවා human related new knowledge කියලා. Why we are using this? Sometimes system will limited to some scope and areas. So rather than the system, yes, humans can make some new knowledge towards the world. Okay, that is the thing actually you can understand. Everything you should need to understand until the end examination. That is my what? That is my message, right? Okay. Then we discuss lot. The last part actually we are going to touch today. That is about we are talking. Yes, the measurement or the and how we can call it as. Yes, we can say like this. Students, can you remember? This is a one part that we have already discussed, but just I want to explain before next date, right? Before next week. So yeah. Yes. Yes. What was happened? Right. It's okay. If you are taking the structured data, the very basic things, students, right? So under this course unit, we are talking about only the structured data. ඒකත් හොඳට මතක තියාගන්න ඕනේ when it's come to the predictive and data mining and predictive analytics course unit. So we are using only the structured data. We are not working with the unstructured and unsupervised data. So we are using only the structured data. That means already we are having the tables, right? Structured data කියලා මෙහෙම ගත්තාම ළමයි, can you remember you may have the tables, no? You may have the tables. So we can call it as the whole table we are calling it as a data set. The whole table we are calling data set, or the student data set, or teachers data set. Likewise, school data set. So whatever the things, so we are calling whole it as the data set. Then in this side, we are calling it as a data record, right? Data record. So it's a row, it's row. Data records. When it's come to the column, so we are calling it as attribute, right? Attributes. Column means attributes. Under that, actually, we have different type of variables. Different type of, actually not the variables, measurements, right? So sometimes, so we can say it as integer. So number type information, we are using the data type or the measurement type as the integer. Then we are having string values. That means the letter type information, we can use string values. Then we can use date of birth. If we are using Date of birth as attribute, yes, we can use the date format. Then we are using decimal as well, decimals. So why is happen? Decimals. Oh, likewise, we use several data formats, right? So actually, how you can decide or how you can categorize these measurements? That is my next question. How we can decide these measurements? How many levels you can identify? That is the next question actually we are going to answer. So this is very important, students, not for this, but for your research topic as well, for research analysis as well, right? අපි SPSS එකේ හරි අපි data set එකක් අපි ඇනලයිස් කරන්න යනකොට අපේ මේ data තියෙන්නේ මොන ස්කේල් එකේද නැත්නම් මොන කැටගරි එකකට තියෙන්නේ කියන එක දැනගන්න එක හරි වැදගත් ළම. එතකොට so we can when we are going to categorize those things, the first thing is we are checking the first criteria is we are going to identify whether this variable can measure or not. Whatever the variable you can take and you checked. What is the checking point? You check this variable can measure or not. So the first criteria is measurable. Measurable. That is the first criteria, measurable. Then obviously you may have two answers. Obviously you have two answers. Yes or no. මනින්න පුළුවන් මනින්න බෑ. මනින්න පුළුවන්ද මනින්න බැරිද කියන එක තමයි අපේ පළවෙනි decision point එක වෙන්නේ. Yes, if yes ඔව් කියලා කිව්වොත් ඒ කියන්නේ මනින්න පුළුවන් කියන එක. උදාහරණයක් විදිහට ගත්තොත් ඔයාගේ උස මනින්න පුළුවන්. Your height, yes. Your weight, yes. Your marks obtained for classroom assessment, yes. The price of the product, yes. The heat, yes. Everything, yes, you can measure. Then my next question or next suggestion point, decision point is going to, if yes, again you need to ask two questions. First one is, yes, it is continuous or discrete. What do you mean by continuous? What do you mean by discrete? The continuous means, students, you may have the value in between two whole numbers. You may have the values in between two whole numbers or consecutive two numbers having the values in between two consecutive numbers, two consecutive whole numbers, you may have the value like this. අපිට තියෙනවා නේද ළමයි, අපි හිතමුකෝ අපේ උස කියලා මීටර් 100යි. මීටර් අපි නැත්නම් කියමු සෙන්ටිමීටර් 100යි. සෙන්ටිමීටර් 101යි. Right? We can take like this. This is 100 centimeters. This is 101 centimeters. In between these two, again you are having values. It is millimeters. Millimeters. That means whole numbers දෙකක් අතරේ values තියෙනවා. For example, you can take the height. Then decrease mean or the discrete mean, you don't have any mid numbers in between two whole numbers. What are the example? If I'm asking how many students in your class, how many students are in your class? Answer is 50, 25, 23, 34. But you can't say 33.5. You don't have any mid numbers in between the two whole numbers. පූර්ව සංඛ්‍යා දෙකක් අතරේ සංඛ්‍යා නෑ පුතේ. ඔයාගේ පන්තියේ ළමයි කීයද කිව්වොත් 33යි 34යි මේසක් 33.5ක් නෑ. So that type of variables, yes, you don't have any mid numbers So that is discrete. Again, I can come to the next part. What is that? Yes, what is that? Right. Yes, what is that? You may have two options. Yes, if it is not measurable. If it is not measurable, mind very deval මොනවද පුතේ තියෙන්නේ? If I'm asking your name, Nimal or someone, whatever the name, can you measure? No, I can't measure. What can පුළුවන්ද? Nimal කියපු එක mind පුළුවන්ද? If I'm asking your blood group, A positive, B negative, O negative, AB positive, whatever the blood groups, can you measure? No, we can't. Then if it is not measurable, again we can have two categories. First one is order and no order. What do you mean by order? If I'm asking, who is the best teacher? Who is your best friend? Then you may have best, better, or the good, better, best. Good, better, best. You may have some levels. Honda, Vada Honda, Ita Honda. Likewise, you may have orders, right? Good, better, best. That type of variables, that type of values, we are calling order. We are categorizing under the order. If you are coming to the no order, could you please tell me an example for no order values? No order values, yes? Yes. No order values means if I'm asking your blood group, my blood group is O negative. If your blood group is A positive, can you make any order? A positive තමයි හොඳම A group නැත්නම් blood group එක කියලා කියන්න. We can't. Exactly. මම වගේ නම අහනවා නිමල්. අනිත් එක නම අහනවා සමන්. මේ දෙන්නව level කරන්න පුළුවන්ද නම දිහා බලලා? No, we can't. We can't do it. Then that type of variables we are categorizing under non-measurable and no order. Then no non-measurable, non-order variables, we are calling it as nominal. Non-measurable, the ordered variables, we can call it as ordinal. These two things we can call it as scale type of data. Nominal, ordinal, scale. These are the three levels actually we should need to understand. The intervals, like there are some, there is another category, so we don't want to think about that. Actually, this is the thing actually you should need to understand. All right. So everything we discussed today. So what is your task is to watch these all videos, Puta, before coming to the next. All means for this week, 13 March, 19 March week recorded or the YouTube videos you need to watch before coming to the next week. Then next week we can start the R programming one as well. Before moving to that, I need to show you one document again. So this is the actually introduction to the descriptive and predictive analysis PowerPoint or the lecture slides. I am not going to take much time to explain this. Why? Because of everything we discussed today. The business world that every decision maker either want to or focus look into what the decision or the data driven decision making. We discuss everything. We discuss everything. So we discuss the domain expert. Yes, who are the persons knowing to make decision and tool experts. මේ දෙකොල්ලෝ ගැන අපි කතා කරා මතක ඇති. එහෙනම් useful insights build up කරන්න නම් මේ දෙකොල්ලොම අපිට ඕනේ කියන කාරණාවත් අපි කතා කරා. So I am not going to take much time to explain one by one, right? So Can you remember we discussed about the descriptive, predictive, and prescriptive, everything we discussed, right? So again, what you need to do is you need to go through it. Yes, everything. Yes. Can you remember? So value and difficulty, complexity and value also we discussed. Can you remember? මතකද අපි මේක කතා කරා මොකද්ද වැඩිපුරම වැලියු එකක් තියෙන්නේ නැත්නම් වැඩිපුරම කොම්ප්ලෙක්ස් මොකද්ද කියන කාරණාව කතා කරා. Yes, everything we discuss. So what you need to do is actually you need to go through it. Yeah, here descriptive and continuous. Lastly, we discussed this continuous and discrete. We discuss everything we discuss. So what you need to do is please